Greetings! If you're watching this, it means that you've enrolled in History 1301 in an online section. My name is Dr. Ryan Pettengill, and I'll be your professor for the next several weeks. What I'm hoping to accomplish in this first video segment is to get you acquainted with the class, to bring you up to date as far as the expectations, requirements, and guidelines, and basically just make sure that everyone's on the same page in terms of what they can expect for the semester. What I'd like you to do right now, if you haven't already done so, is to get a copy of the syllabus. If you want to pull it up online, listen to me talk while we go through it, that's fine. Or better yet, you could put me on pause and go print one out. So if you haven't already done that, go ahead and print out a copy of the syllabus, and you can find a copy by logging into eCampus and then going into Content and clicking on the Course Documents folder. Put me on pause and get a copy of the syllabus. Okay, now because this is an online section, communication is going to be very key. I've listed several ways to get a hold of me at the top of the syllabus there. The easiest way to get in contact with me, and usually the most successful, is via email. I check that email account at least twice a day, and chances are, if you send me a message Monday through Thursday before about 3 o'clock, I'll usually respond on the same day. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if there's anything that needs to be brought to my attention, and you need me to respond, email is the safest bet when it comes to a timely manner. There is an office phone number that is listed on the syllabus. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to answer the phone, but if you would like to leave me a message, that is certainly fine. Alright, the next thing that I want to talk about is the book list for History 1301. If you'll scroll down to the bottom of page 1, you can see a section entitled Required Texts. There really are 3, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a break considering, after all, this is an online section. The first book that you see there by James Henrietta, that's the book that's going to be most important. America's History, that's your textbook, and that's really the only text that you absolutely positively have to buy. You can get a copy of it in the MVC bookstore, but you are, under no certain circumstances, required to buy it from Mountain View College. I would advise you to take a look on Amazon or half.com, someplace. You might be able to pick up a copy of it at half-price books, but it might be a little bit difficult to find there. Anyway, you need a copy of it, and you need to get one very, very soon. The good news is the next 2 books, even though they are required, you don't have to purchase. If you'll look on eCampus, in Content, there's a section entitled Online Texts. What you're going to find inside that folder is a copy of Frederick Douglass and a copy of Paul Johnson. I've uploaded digital copies of both of those texts in eCampus. If you've got an e-reader, an iPad or a Nook or something of that sort, perfectly fine to read it in that format. If it saves you a little bit of money and you prefer to read in that fashion, more power to you. I really don't care what editions of Douglass or Johnson you have, as long as you have a copy. Okay, next. What I'd like to do is take you through the week-by-week schedule. And if you'll scroll down to page 3, you'll see a copy of the course outline. Now, there's good news and bad news for a course like this. The good news is it's over in about 5 weeks. It's quick, it's short, and if you do what I ask, it's relatively painless. The bad news is we're packing what is typically 15 weeks of work into a 5-week semester. So as you can imagine, you're going to have a lot of work, and you're going to have a lot of work each and every week. For example, for the first week of class, your assignment is to read the online documents. You can get a copy of that by going into eCampus, clicking Content, opening up the Week 1 folder, and then inside Week 1 there's another folder entitled Online Documents. This week I need you to read 1 through 3, which are, again, located inside the Week 1 assignment folder. I also need you to complete chapters 1 through 3 in America's history. Again, that's your textbook. In addition to the textbooks, you're also going to need to check out a copy of a film series that's called Shaping America. Now, there's a couple ways that you can go about getting your hands on this. You can go to the MVC library, and you can go to the circulation desk and tell them that you're enrolled in History 1301 in Dr. Pettengill's section, and the librarian should be able to take care of the rest. If you don't want to go to the library, if you can't go to the library, I've uploaded a digital copy of this documentary series, and you can find a copy in eCampus's content section, and it's just entitled Shaping America Videos. For this week, and this will make a lot more sense once you begin to play around with the videos, I need you to complete lessons 1 through 6. In other words, what you're going to need to do is view lessons 1 through 6. The videos are important because you don't have a person talking to you on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. These video segments are the next best thing to somebody actually lecturing. So, all I need you to do is complete lessons 1 through 6, and it should take you approximately 2.5, maybe 3 hours, but it doesn't have to be done in one sitting. You can watch a little here, a little there. Each lesson is approximately a half hour long. Okay? It sounds much worse than it is. You also note in the course outline that you have to participate in a discussion forum. I'll get to what a discussion forum is and where you can find it in eCampus in a second. But the first one is due at the end of the first week. Lastly, for the first week of class, you need to complete Quiz 1. And just like the online readings, you can find a copy of Quiz 1 in the Week 1 assignment folder. If you open up Week 1 and then open up assignments, Quiz 1 should be the first thing that pops up at you. Now, I'm not going to go through the week-by-week schedule. I've done a pretty detailed job of outlining the first week. So if you look at Week 2 and then on to Week 3, what you're going to find is where you should be in terms of progressing in the course, what documents you need to have read, and what you need to do for next week. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about how you score the grade that you want to score in this class. If you'll scroll down to page 4, you'll find a section entitled Evaluation Procedures. There are 5 basic components to this class. Start out with number 1, participation. This is 15% of your cumulative grade, and it's a very important part of the course. Each week, you're going to be asked to participate in one discussion forum. There are a total of 5. There are 5 weeks in this particular semester. And what I'll do is I'll pose a central, open-ended, broad question. And you need to respond to it. You need to give me your thoughts, you need to give me feedback. Now, to find these questions, all you do is open up eCampus. And on the left-hand side of the page, underneath Content, you'll see a button entitled Discussions. Click Discussions, it'll take you to the discussion forum. For this particular week, meaning Week 1, click on Discussion Forum 1. You'll see an open-ended question. I like to think of America the exception. What makes America exceptional to great civilizations of the past? What sets us apart? What makes us different? Answer that question. Now, it is important that you answer that directly and you do a good job of engaging the centrality of the question. But because this is the participation section of the course, it's important that you engage others' opinions. Now, for this particular week, I'll get the ball rolling. I'll throw in my 2 cents, and if you want to engage with me directly, if you want to say, hey, I agree with you on this, but maybe that you might want to rethink, that's essentially what I'm looking for. Now, the more people participate, the easier it will be for everyone to engage each other's opinions. But please understand, you can't put yourself in a silo in this class and basically ignore the rest of the online community. I need you to engage in other people's opinions when you participate in these discussion forums. Now, the next requirement are the quizzes. There will be a total of 5 quizzes for the semester. Each of them are worth 3 points, for a grand total of 15 points, 15% of your final grade. Now, the quizzes should be relatively easy considering they're all open book. I will pose, again, a very open-ended question, but unlike the discussions, I'm going to point you to a particular document, usually within the online readings. And don't panic, it'll say very precisely the page number and the particular online readings that I'm referring to. Now, if you want to work on these in groups, in other words, if you know somebody in the class and you want to work with them, that's totally fine, but you cannot submit a word-for-word replica of what the other person wrote. If I get that, it will be counted as a 0, as it is essentially plagiarism. The next section are the papers. Over the course of the semester, you'll be asked to write 2 3-page papers. There are 10 points apiece for a grand total of 20 points, which translates into another 20% of your final grade. Now, if you want to get a head start on these papers, thinking about them and rolling over some ideas in your head, there are some paper guidelines in week 3 and week 5's assignment folders. You can know right now what I'm going to ask you if you'd like to. You can open it up and you can get a head start thinking about what you want to write. The guidelines that you can download in week 3 and week 5 will also point out exactly what I expect when you write this paper. These papers are argumentative, they're not book reports. As we get further into the semester, there will be more video sections that illuminate exactly what it is I'm talking about. The fourth requirement is a midterm exam. You'll be taking the midterm exam in week 3. The midterm is 25% of your total grade. It consists of a multiple choice section, a short answer section in which you have to write something out, and a long essay section. Again, if you wish, there is a midterm study guide available to you in week 3's assignment folder. You can download it and already know what I'm going to ask you weeks before I even ask it to you. Now, the last requirement is the final exam, which is worth 25% of your cumulative grade. It'll be very similar to the midterm. There'll be a multiple choice section, short answer section, and a long essay section. And just like the midterm, you'll get a study guide well ahead of time that'll help you prepare for it. That's the requirements for this class. Underneath the requirements, you see a grading scale. I don't grade on the curve. At the end of the semester, the score that you're left with is the score that you will earn for your grade. If you have any individual questions regarding the grading scale, you can email me directly. That's basically all I wanted to cover in this first video segment. The last thing that I wanted to point out before I end is the official last day to drop this class without it appearing as a letter grade, usually an F, on your transcripts is June 27th, 2012. That date is something to keep in mind as we move forward in the semester. All right, what I would do right now if I were you is get a head start on the reading. Go to the online texts, if you want, and open up the Douglas text. Get started reading Douglas. If there's one thing that you can do right now that's going to get you ahead in the class, is to get a head start on the reading, and Douglas is the first major assignment that you're going to need to read. Thank you. As always, if you have questions, please let me know.